Alright, guys. So, something's been kind of on my mind lately. Seen some controversy online as of lately, with all these school shootings and concealed carry garbage and all this other crap going on. So, let me start this off by saying I personally do have a concealed carry license, and I do conceal carry and or open carry on a daily basis. Let me also say that while I was growing up as a child, we never had guns in the house. None of my parents that I know of owned a firearm, let alone used one. Not that many people in my family did any sort of hunting or anything like that. So, given that much knowledge, you could probably say that I don't have a very extensive background on being trained and or conditioned to firearms in general. And the reason I bring this up is that a lot of the controversy I've been seeing online and some of the controversy that has been brought to me about carrying a firearm on a daily basis has to do with the fact that people seem to have this notion in their mind that a gun can just go off at any point, Now, like I said, I'm not an expert by any means on this, but judging from personal experiences and from doing research pertaining to such events as firearms just automatically going off, you got to do something very serious, and by serious I mean along the lines of pulling the trigger on a firearm for it to go off. I will admit that I've had a loaded firearm and I dropped it on the floor from a decent distance. It never went off. You hear about people shooting themselves while they're cleaning their guns. Let me tell you from experience here, guys, in order to clean your firearm properly, I mind you, you have to make sure that the chamber is empty first. So, if somebody's cleaning their gun and it goes off and shoots them, that's because they didn't check the chamber to make sure it was empty. Thus, they're not doing it properly. In my eyes, that's not considered an accident. That's just negligence. And this brings me to my point. If you're going to take it upon yourself to own a firearm, not even carry a firearm, mind you, to own a firearm, you should be well equipped and knowledgeable about the firearm in your possession. I don't just go out and buy an M16 and expect to know everything about it. No, I'm going to do some research first. Make sure it's the type of rifle I want. For instance, so when I bought my first handgun, my first pistol was a high point 9mm. Did a little research on them. It's not the fanciest gun. It's not by any means the most comfortable gun to shoot now that I have it. But it is very cheap. They run you about $150 to $200. It's a very cheap gun. It's got a 8-round mag capacity. The thing's built like a freaking tank. I mean, it's a brick, Not the greatest accuracy, but it does have it's not the greatest accuracy. I'm not going to hit the bullseye every time I shoot, but it's well within the vicinity. Good enough, right? But I ended up getting rid of that one because it didn't fit my hand properly, and I wasn't able to shoot it properly. And since then, I've bought a Glock 17, a Gen 4. It's a 9mm. And 9mm seems to suit my fancy because of the main fact that everything higher than a 9mm caliber seems to have a little too much kick for me, and I just don't like it. I can't shoot it comfortably. So, and then the other thing with the Glock 9mm that I have now is that it actually fits my hand. Like, the grip actually fits my hand properly. With the high point, my pinky was hanging off the end of the grip, and that kind of throws off the weight balance a little bit. Not to mention that the high point has a monster of a slide on it, and it's really heavy. Thus the reason I called it a brick. So, all this being said, it brings me back to, you need to do your research. If you're going to buy a firearm, make sure you can handle it. Make sure, it fits good in your hand. You make sure the caliber that you're shooting doesn't have too much recoil for you to handle and for you to get back on target easily. These are all things that a responsible gun owner has to take into account and make sure that they're capable of, handling their firearm properly. Make sure you know how to clean it properly. Make sure you know how to store it properly and safely. So that kind of brings me into the next part of my topic here today is safe storage. So the one I will give you about gun accidents is that kids getting a hold of your firearm should never happen. If you're a firearm owner, you should know where that weapon is 24/7. For me, mine's always either on my side, locked in my glove box, or at home, locked up, which is very far and few between. I don't lock it up at home very much because I'm always out doing stuff where it would be on my side, or I'm somewhere that I'm not allowed to carry, and thus it is locked up in my glove box. My child, fortunately, is not old enough yet to reach certain areas where my wife and I might keep our firearms, but when she does get to be that old and that tall, we'll have to take extended measures to make sure she doesn't get a hold of them. And that's just, that's common sense, guys. I mean, you wouldn't, although I have seen some videos, you don't want to hand a loaded gun to a monkey, right? I mean, not to compare small children to monkeys, but, I mean, you can kind of see the comparison, right? Same thing goes for, you're not just going to hand a loaded gun to somebody who's never used a gun before. Beside the fact that you should never just hand a loaded gun over to somebody in the first place. But, yeah. Anyway, so without getting too far off topic here, circling back around to some of the controversy that I've been thrown into, I've had people tell me, oh, well, people shouldn't be allowed to carry over, X amount of rounds. I'm not going to name names, but I had a fella on Facebook tell me one time, I don't think anybody should be allowed to carry over 10 rounds on them at any time, because anything over 10 rounds is just unnecessary. Well, I got news for you folks. My Glock 9mm, when I purchased it brand new, came with 3 magazines, and each magazine holds 17 rounds. I'd be a fool not to carry all those with me because A, they were provided for me when I bought it. B, you never know how much ammo you're going to need because you never know what kind of dangerous situation you might be forced into. And C, why not, right? Why not? I don't carry that many rounds because I need that many. I carry that many because I wouldn't want to be stuck in a situation where I did need that many and I didn't have them. So, that being said, the other controversial subject that I was kind of versed on the other day on a YouTube video, actually, I don't remember who it was by, but he was talking about people who carry without their gun being chambered. So, when I carry, there's always a bullet in my chamber. It's ready to go at the split hair of a second. People argue that it only takes you 1 to 2 seconds to rack the slide and get one in the chamber. And the way I look at it is, well, is that 1 to 2 seconds you're willing to give up? because 9 times out of 10, that bad guy is already going to have one in the chamber, and he's already going to have his gun pointed at you. So I'm not willing to risk the 2 seconds to cock my slide back and get one in the chamber when I could already have it ready to go. So now the part of this that people don't like is that, oh, well, it could just go off and there's already one in the chamber, so it's more likely to have an accident. No, you're retarded. My Glock 9mm always has one in the chamber, which leaves 16 in the mag. It is a semi-automatic weapon. There is no physical safety on it short of a safety trigger, and that's another topic. We'll get into that in something else. But there's no physical safety. There's no switch for me to go click. Oh, I can't shoot the gun. There's none of that. I carry it in a holster that covers the trigger. Most holsters do cover the trigger. And like I've already said, you'd have to do something seriously stupid in order to pull that trigger when it's in your holster. And that all comes down to knowing your firearm, knowing the gear that you're carrying it in, and knowing yourself. Now, that's not to say that you can't do what you want to do. That's fine. If you want to carry without your gun chambered, be my guest. If you want to carry 10 rounds or less, again, be my guest, but I'm not willing to take that risk. Basically, what I'm trying to get across to you here, people, is that if you're going to carry a firearm, especially on a daily basis, if you're going to go through the steps to get your concealed carry permit, or if you're even just going to, like here in Michigan, it's an open carry state. If you're going to open carry, or if you're going to conceal carry, do everybody a favor. Know your firearm. Know your surroundings. Know how to use your firearm. Know how to properly carry your firearm. And by all means, if you're not comfortable carrying with your gun chambered, then don't. If you're not comfortable, carrying more than X amount of rounds, then don't. Because you know what's worse than somebody carrying a gun? It's somebody who's unprepared in carrying a gun. It goes back to, if you don't feel comfortable driving a big rig, you're not gonna drive a big rig, right? It's the same concept. If you're not comfortable carrying your firearm, you probably shouldn't be carrying your firearm. Once again, this is just my opinion, but between you and me, if I got some jackass in front of me staring me down with his gun pointed at me, I'd rather have my gun cock locked and ready to rock than, oh, hold on, Mr. Bad Guy, let me cock one in the chamber real quick and then we'll get on with the gunfight. No, that's not how it works. People argue that, oh, well, if you're paying attention to your surroundings, then you'll see the danger before it even comes up on you. No, that's not how it works, guys. Violence violence is just one of those things that has this weird way of jumping out of nowhere. Let me give you a perfect example, right? I used to work as a bouncer for a lot of years, and after you do it for a while, you can call it superstition, whatever, but you kind of get this feeling, this edgy feeling, when there's tension in the air and something's gonna jump off. But you don't know what it is, you don't know where it's going to be, and there have been plenty of times where, you're just cruising along having a good night, and all of a sudden there's a fight breaking out, and people are getting shoved and punched, and I witnessed a stabbing one time. Thankfully, I've never witnessed a gun being pulled out in the bar, but, it was only a matter of time, I'm sure, before it happened. But the point is, guys, is you're not ever going to be 100% ready, but every little thing that you can do to make yourself more prepared for that situation, the better. I can't stress that enough. And I'm going to get into this in another video too, but the main topic here, guys, is if you're not comfortable carrying, don't. So anyway, guys, we'll get into this in further topics. I think I'm going to start a series, and we'll go through it all on that. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like. If you didn't like it, hit the don't like. Subscribe for more content. Hit the notification to get notifications when I update new stuff. You guys know the drill. I hope everybody's having a good day. I had a good day. Fixing to get some breakfast. Go home and relax. Spend some time with the family. Just do me a favor, guys. Don't listen to everything you see on the news about guns, okay? They're not as bad as the media wants you to believe. And I'll get into that in another topic. Trust me. But anyway, guys, take care and stay safe.